Okay, so my wallpaper business did $34,107 in revenue in 30 days in the month of August. We did 26,409 in July and $24,098 in June. We did this all without the use of Facebook ads, no Instagram reels, zero fancy creatives. Okay, this is a case study for my business, but more importantly, this is the exact strategy that I use to help people start and or scale their home service brands consistently, and it'll work in any city if you execute this correctly. So for a little bit of context, I run a wallpaper installation company in Wilmington, North Carolina, population size about 120,000 people. And I also help people, like I said, start and scale their own home service companies. I'm not selling you magic. There's no affiliate link in the description or anything like that. I'm not about to auto pitch anything. My goal simply is that this is one of the best free videos you'll watch if you want to build a real local service business that pays you well. Now, if you were like me when I was 18, 19, 20, stuck doom scrolling, side hustle, trying drop shipping or editing content for 16 hours a week that doesn't convert, this video is for you, okay? This is the exact video I wish I had when I was 19, 20 years old, getting my start in entrepreneurship. That just broke down exactly what you can do and why you should go with home services opposed to like some online business, okay? So if you want real life-changing income and a path that you can replicate in other home service niches, just do exactly what I'm about to show you. You might be wondering how I even ended up here in the first place. So at the age of 19, I started my first business, which back then was a social media marketing agency, SMA for short. I did SMMA, high ticket sales, and even online fitness coaching. And I did make money with all of them, especially in SMMA. But the problem that I found with online business is it just wasn't consistent because of how oversaturated online business is. My problem was because there were so many people competing and with much bigger ad budgets than me, we always had to change up what we were doing, could never stick with one strategy consistently. And it was just way too much. Okay. In 2023, I had just been laid off from my software sales job that I had and decided to give this a shot because my mom was doing wallpaper installation. She still is. She started back in 2018 and she suggested that I give it a shot. I also tried to start my second marketing agency and I was doing them both side by side. And in 2024, it just got to a point where I had to pick one. I decided to go all in my home service company. And that by far was the right choice. When I went all in on it, the business blew up. And now I'm where I'm at today. Again, we're doing 20 to 30K a month on average right now. We even had some months a little bit higher, and we're well on our way to 100K months with this business. So again, I'm just going to break down exactly what we do, how I got here, so you can hopefully replicate it. Okay, here's the entire strategy. Don't worry, I'm going to break down every single step of it here. So let's just go ahead and dive in. So obviously the first thing you have to do is pick what niche you're going to go into, whether it's wallpaper, exterior washing, interior cleaning, landscaping, car detailing, whatever it is. Okay. But what's awesome about home services is all of this applies no matter what niche you're in. So this works for a wallpaper business. This works for a window cleaning business. This works for a landscaping business, etc. Okay. So I'm going to dive into the organic side first because this is all we do. I have run paid ads before, specifically Facebook ads. I spent $600 in the summer of 2023 to make $2,400. And the only reason that we haven't done them since is because it's mostly just been me. Up until June of 2025, I did not have any employees. Now I do. So actually in about a week or two, we're going to be launching these two right here. The only reason we're not doing LSA is because it's not available for the wallpaper niche, unfortunately. So hopefully Google will change that soon. So I'm just going to mostly focus on this, but I am going to break down this. Okay. So these are all of the different ways that you can get jobs as a home service business owner. Okay. Starting over here with Google Business Profile. All right. Google Business Profile, if you aren't familiar with it, if you look up wallpaper installer in your area, you'll pop up here. I'm always switching. I don't know why, but 1 and 2 here. I have more views than this guy. So we typically pop up number 1. But this is what Google Business Profile is. It used to be called Google My Business. What this does is when people are looking up for you, this is the first thing you're going to pop up. So you absolutely want to be in the top 3 here, okay? Especially if you are number 1, people are going to be more likely to check you out. And if you're not, again, we're always bouncing. Again, I don't know really what determines who's number 1 or not because it doesn't seem to be more reviews. But they're most likely going to go with the company that has the most 5-star reviews, which is us. So people will click on this and they will get some information about us. They'll see our service area. They'll see the reviews. They'll see your website. They can have an option to call us. All that good stuff. Okay, so that is Google Business Profile. The next thing is Facebook groups. So this is an awesome strategy, and I'll even show you guys this too. So all you got to do is go to Facebook. I'm going to break down every single strategy for you guys. So you'll go to your Facebook account, and when you're in, let me just pause this till it loads. Once you're in, you're going to go over here to groups, and all you're going to do is just find local groups. So here's one of the groups that I joined and started doing this exact strategy in. So once you're in the group, a lot of people will make the mistake of just self-promoting. Self-promoting is going to be one of the easiest ways to get kicked out of these groups, and it's just not a good look for your company. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in whatever your service is, and then you're going to start seeing posts. So what I used to do is I would find a post just like this. I need someone to hang wallpaper. You do this, whatever. You'll go here and you can self promote. And what you really want to do, here's a really good strategy. Get your friends and family to do this so you're not self promoting. Okay. Obviously, if you're self promoting under a post like this, it's fine. You could do that. And then you could also have your friends and family do this and refer you. So you have that much more people doing this for you. So this is one of my competitors here. She's been recommended twice. Here's another one as well. So as you can see, we don't do this because I just don't really have to at this point. But again, I'm going to have people do all these strategies for me. I'm going to hire them to do it. Okay. So that's the Facebook group strategy. Again, really helpful if you can get your friends and family to go through this and do this for you. But yeah, you can see, like, look at all these posts. There's a ton of stuff here. So you can, again, go under these, get your family and friends to do it as well and recommend you. This is super, super good. All right. Now, Instagram, Facebook, and organic is exactly what it sounds like. You're just posting on Facebook and Instagram. You want to do like before and afters and stuff, maybe fun facts, tips and tricks, all that good stuff. The next is other trades. So be a little creative here. Like, what trade might get asked if they do your service? So for us, it's painters. A lot of painters are going to get asked, do you guys install wallpaper? And we get asked, do you guys paint? So what I did is I called all the local painting companies. I was like, hey, I'm a wallpaper installer. I just wanted to reach out because I might be getting people asking for your service. So I wanted to see, I want to find a good painter in the area, and you guys came up on Google or Facebook or whatever. So just want to do that. And then when you do that, you don't have to say, oh, yeah, you can recommend me too. It's kind of just one of those things that's said without being said. If you're going to give them work, they're going to want to make sure to give you work as well, so you can keep that relationship. Next is supply stores. So for us, it's Sherwin-Williams, because that's where we get our supplies from, our paste, our tools, stuff like that. Sherwin-Williams has a thing where you go in there and they have like a board where people can leave their business cards. So that's what I did. I went into every Sherwin-Williams store around me, introduced myself to the employees, to the managers, and just let them know who I am and what I'm doing, and asked if I could leave a card. And every time I would do this, I would buy something from them. Just one or two things, super cheap, but just stuff that I needed anyways. So I went to 5 or 6 stores, and then I got a lot of my tools that way, and I made connections with every single manager, employee there. So this is super good as well. At my main Sherwin-Williams store, they actually have a wallpaper section where only my cards are. And I didn't ask for that. They just did it for me because I have a good relationship with them. So again, if you're in like exterior washing or interior cleaning, you just got to think, like, what stores or places could you leave business cards and build relationships with people that they might get asked if they know anyone that does your service. Okay. Interior designers, general contractors, and custom home builders. Again, be creative. This kind of goes with other trades, but we get a ton of work from interior designers, general contractors, and custom home builders. So same strategy here. Reach out. Hey, I'm a wallpaper installer. I'm new in the area. I would love to, if you guys have any work that you need done, I'd love to be your wallpaper guy. Word of mouth and referrals. Everyone knows what this is. This does require you obviously to get some jobs first. This comes a little bit later in the pipeline, but if someone refers you to somebody else, the likelihood that that person chooses to go with you is almost 100%. They're not really going to be looking for competitors. They're not going to be trying to, get different prices from different people. They're just going to go with you because a trusted person in their life recommended you. Again, we get a lot of work from these as well. Though, by the way, the stars here, this is how we get the majority of our work. So Google Business Profile, interior designers, and word of mouth and referrals. Door-to-door sales, we do not do this in wallpaper because it doesn't really make sense. Not everybody wants it. But if you're especially in exterior washing, like window cleaning or pressure washing, gutter cleaning, whatever, this is huge. My business partner for our program, Thomas, he's 23 years old now. He just did 77K in September. And all they do is door-to-door. They don't do any of this stuff. They literally live and breathe door-to-door sales, and it works really well for them. Okay. So that's how you're going to go about getting jobs. All right. So when people reach out to you through any of these channels, you're going to want to give them an estimate. And these estimates can either be in person or virtual. When I first started, I was going to these people's homes, I was measuring the jobs for them so I could meet them, get the measurements, see if they had the material picked out that they wanted to go with, and then get them the estimate. We mostly do virtual now because I simply don't have the time to drive around town all day long and do that. We won't only do that for people who specifically request it, or if there's a more complicated job where I don't want the homeowner to send me the measurements because they're probably going to screw it up, or if someone's willing to leave a deposit. So if they're outside of like a 15-minute radius from where I live, I will charge them a $100 deposit for me to actually go over there and look at the job. And if someone's going to be willing to do that, again, they're most likely going to go with you because now they have some skin in the game. I tell them it's not refundable, but it gets put towards the labor quote if they do choose to go with us, right? Now, let's talk about pricing a little bit in wallpaper specifically. So the pricing is going to be typically $3 to $8 per square foot. There's three ways to price, okay? Square footage, which is what we typically do. And then we have a day rate. My day rate typically falls around like $600 on average. And then hourly, which we never do. I never recommend charging by the hour, at least in wallpaper installation. Again, we're mostly doing square footage and sometimes day rate. I do have minimums for certain jobs. So these are the most common areas that we're doing in people's homes. Accent walls is just literally like one wall. A feature wall is another name for it. I won't charge less than $400 for that. Powder rooms, which are half baths, we won't charge less than $600 for. Full bathrooms, $700 is the minimum, and then dining rooms and bedrooms, $800 minimum. Okay, so given these numbers, especially the day rate, if you're doing 1 to 3 jobs per day, which you can do that solo sometimes, you're going to be making anywhere between $400 to over $2,000 per day. I think the most I've ever made in a day was like 2,500. Okay, so that's how we price. Now, I have put all that information into a GPT here. This is my company, so I'll just click this as an example. So I don't really only use this to double check because I do the math myself, and you don't want to get the roll count wrong because if you tell a client how many rolls of wallpaper to order and you get it wrong, it's on you because you messed it up. So then you have to get the extra rolls if you were short. Okay, so create an estimate for a dining room that is 12 feet by 10 feet wide and 9-foot ceilings with a 27-inch wide wallpaper with a 24-inch pattern repeat. It comes in 9-yard rolls. These are very typical dimensions for what we see with a wallpaper roll. So I wanted to show you this because it kind of breaks down the math, right? So what I do when I measure, and I tell people to do this if they're sending me measurements, is just if it's a typical room with 4 walls, I tell them to get me the measurements of 2 perpendicular walls, okay? So there's 2 walls that are 12 feet, another 2 that are 10 feet. Again, as you can see, times 2, 44 feet, 528 inches, ceiling height, 9 foot, 108 inches. And then we'll start doing the calculations, okay? So this would fall under our minimum of $800. Actually, no, I'm wrong. Final price. So it's higher than the minimum given the square footage, okay? And I programmed this with $3 a square foot, as you can see right here. So I would round up and just charge $1,200, or maybe round down and charge $1,150. I usually always round up, okay? And then right here, you can see it tells us how many rolls that we're going to need. It does add 10% for waste because you always do want to have a little bit extra just in case you mess up a sheet. You don't want to have just enough. You want a little bit extra, and you obviously never want to be short. So I wanted to show you this again so you could actually see the math and how we do it. I'm not a math guy, so again, I like to just double check with this GPT to make sure that I'm on the money. Now, going back here, we will go ahead and send them this estimate right here. So I'll say, hey, labor is going to be $1,200 and you're going to need 11 rolls of the wallpaper. Now, most of the time, 99% of the time, they are going to order the paper themselves, or they're working with an interior designer, and the interior designer will order the paper, and then the interior designer will bill the client, and then the interior designer will typically also bill the client for your labor. So when I'm working with an interior designer and they send me to go somewhere, I don't send the client this stuff. I send it to the designer, and the designer will forward that to them, and it's all run through the designer. Okay. Then once we send it over, they will either say yes or no. And again, a wallpaper, which is really nice. Most people are saying yes because, if someone's interested in wallpaper, pricing typically is not an issue because wallpaper alone is super expensive. And then you add our labor on top of it. And then we do the job, and then the job is complete. Now, we really want to focus here on the review request. We scale from like 2 to 3K a month, like 10 to 12, just from getting Google reviews. That is huge. Like I showed you, especially in home services, most people a little bit older, so they don't know how to utilize the internet, right? So this is where being a little bit younger and having a marketing background is really, really handy. Okay, because you ask people for reviews. I would even incentivize people to leave reviews when I first started doing this. I'd say, hey, I'll take like $50 off, or even sometimes $100 off. It was like a super easy job, and I feel like I overcharged a little bit. That's the most I ever did. Okay, and then people, if you do that, people are 100% willing to leave you reviews, which is really great. And again, that funnels back into Google Business Profile is exactly how we get a lot of our jobs here. Something I just noticed I forgot is website as well. So we do have a website. If you go back here, you can actually see my website is ranked #1, which is awesome. So again, if people, maybe they're going to scroll past this, they'll go look for websites. I'm #1, so they're most likely going to click on me and my company. And then on my website, we have a form for them to fill out. Right here, as you can see, this is A2P approved. So they'll put in their name, phone number, email, messages, or a message about the project, and then we'll give them a call and get more information from them about that specific job. So that's the organic side of it. Going over to paid, it's again pretty much the same thing. Again, you're going to be running Facebook ads, Google search ads, and LSA if you can. Again, Wallpaper does not offer LSA, unfortunately, through Google. So that's not something we can do. But if you are a painter or window cleaner, pressure washing company, most likely you are going to be able to run these. So I would definitely recommend doing it. Process is the same. They reach out. We're going to give them a call. And again, they are either going to want it in person or virtual. Most of the time, we're going to try to go for virtual because it's just less work for us. We will send them the quote using this pricing. And then same thing, we'll complete the job and ask them to leave a review, which will funnel into our Google Business Profile. And also your Facebook page. People can leave reviews on your Facebook page. So we get them to do both, but I definitely prioritize the Google Business Profile. Okay, so that's basically just kind of like a high level overview of the funnel that we use to go about getting the jobs, how we price them, and then what to do after the job. A lot of these jobs are going to take, if it's an accent wall, that can literally just take 2 hours, even with prep work. Bathroom is going to probably take like 4 to 6, and dining room is about the same. So again, you can squeeze 2 to 3 jobs in a day. If you're doing 3 accent walls, yeah, you can easily squeeze those in. Sometimes even 4, depending on how quick you are, or if you have a crew. And if you're doing the minimum, that's $1,600 in a day from pretty easy stuff. Why this works so good, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier in the video, is because the demand is here and the supply is here in home services. Okay, not just wallpaper installation, in home services, because again, most people in their 20s and 30s want to do something online, which there's nothing wrong with doing that, of course. But if you want to get ahead and you want to make some serious money, consistent money, you want to go into a space that isn't that competitive. So you're not fighting tooth and nail for your next dollar every single day, just fighting to have your rent paid every month, then home service is 100% where it's at. So I'd be more than happy to kind of break down any of the specific strategies that I kind of covered in separate videos. So if this helped, like and subscribe. And again, drop a comment if you want to see any of these strategies kind of diving into death. Wow. Diving into in depth. I'd be happy to do that. Yeah. And if you're serious about building a home service company, scaling from 0 to 10K a month in 3 to 6 months, or if you have a current business that you're stuck between maybe like 3 to 5, or you just can't break that 10K a month mark, check the link down in the description. You can book a call with me and my team to directly, and we'd be more than happy to help you guys out. Also, make sure to give my Instagram a follow down below. I post a lot of short form content over there. And again, anything that you guys want to see specifically, a little bit more in depth on how exactly we did this, I'd be more than happy to do that. Again, just leave your comments down in the comment section, and I will see you guys on the next one.